Hey everyone, I hope you guys are all doing well. Welcome to a video that's a little different than something that I'd usually do. So, in this video we're going to be going through Animal Crossing New Leaf. I wanted to go through and talk about a lot of the secrets in this game. There's actually a lot that a lot of people do not know about, and I will be covering them in this video. So, yeah, that's what we're going to be doing. I love New Horizons. It's a great game, but honestly, just coming back to this game just has that charm that New Horizons doesn't. So, I hope you guys learned something new in this video. Let's get started. Perfect Fruit are a cool mechanic in this game that never made its way back into New Horizons, but what a lot of people don't know, I think, is that if you shake a perfect fruit tree too much, it will actually die. And it kind of sucks because you have to go out of your way and replant it. But see, like that. But Perfect Fruit is a really great way to earn bells in this game. It sells for 3,000 bells a pop in a non-native fruit town. So it's a really great way of earning money in this game. So, now that this is a thing, the first time that you kill a tree from shaking Perfect Fruit, Leaf will actually send you a letter. You can easily revive a Perfect Fruit tree by planting fertilizer next to it. And you can increase your chances with a golden shovel. However, you can always keep these. You can do like kind of a dead foresty area. I've seen some people do kind of deserts with them. It's kind of cool that you can do that. I do not have fertilizer on me, but I hope you guys, I promise you it works. And I'm pretty sure this was added in Welcome Amiibo. Zero fruit baskets are kind of an interesting mechanic. Well, they're not really supposed to exist. They were created by modders and save editors, but essentially you can grab these perfect pairs for however long you want. And this is basically infinite, unless you do this, I think. Yep, yeah. You can spoil it by using that. But the funny thing is I think I was on Club Tortimer once, and someone gave me perfect peaches, or not peaches, cherries. It was cherries. And cherries was not my native fruit at the time, and I was able to get a bunch of bells like that. I think a lot of people undermine the silver tools in this game and kind of like brush them to the side. Why is there a wasp or mosquito? You're bothering my recording session. Apologies. Anyways, so the cool thing about the silver tools in this game, or the silver shovel specifically, we'll get to some of the other ones later, is that it actually, first of all, I just kind of like the color scheme a little bit more of the silver tools, not gonna lie. But adding to that, the silver shovels allows you to get ore from money rocks. It allows you to get gems from money rocks. And this is a trick I used, well, this is something I used because of the fact that it really helps you get a lot of money if you want to sell the ores, or if you want to use them for refurbishing, or what, in my case, I was trying to grind the gold series for the furniture series for my rooms. Oh, see, that was kind of bad luck there. I did not actually get the gem, or the gem money rock. It's kind of complicated to word that out. So if you're ever upset with that, you can always just reset your game. See, Xemnas also did not get the gems out of the money rock today. But he did have decent luck. As you can see, he actually got 200 bells out of the money rock. For those of you who don't know, this game kind of has a luck mechanic, and that's kind of how it determines whether you're going to get ore, how much money you get out of the money rock, etc. You can obviously increase this through using Katrina's mechanic of your lucky item for the day. It's an interesting mechanic that doesn't really have a lot of use in New Horizons. It does still exist, but it also makes it easier to befriend villagers. Obviously the tripping, if you guys wear the King Tut mask or whatnot, that does decrease your luck by a very high amount. So it's interesting how that all works in this game. The silver watering can is a pretty cool item in this game, and I don't think a lot of people give it enough credit for what it actually does. I'm pretty sure from what all the searching I've done on the internet, and just from anecdotal evidence, this thing does actually increase your chances of getting hybrids, and also I really like the northeast southwest. Honestly, it's almost faster than using a golden watering can, because with the golden watering can, it takes the entire animation of your player moving it fully around them, but this just takes, you can easily buffer the watering here, and I actually like that about the silver can. in this game. It is a little tedious to get, requires a little bit of commitment with Leaf, but I think it is worth it, and yeah, it's pretty neat. If you guys ever want to increase your chances for hybrids, my best recommendation is getting fertilizer, obviously, and using the golden shovel with that, combining it with the Jacob's ladder, and also burying the fertilizer with the golden shovel and watering it with the silver can, and that's the best way you guys will get chances in order to breed those nice flowers. Expanding a little bit more on silver tools, a lot of people don't know that the silver tools, or the silver axe, will always give you a 100% chance of getting a rare stump. The golden axe you can get a rare stump with the golden axe, but it takes murdering a lot of trees in order to do that. But if I just go up to any tree with my silver axe, this is kind of a pain to get, this item. You do have to do a lot of island hopping, which isn't currently possible unless Pretendo fixes the servers. But let me just chop this peach tree down here, and let's see what we actually end up getting. We got a nice butterfly. Nice. And the cool thing is that with these rare stumps, it will actually increase your chances of getting rare mushrooms and the mushroom set of furniture, so that's really neat. I really like the silver axe, and I hope that they do bring these back in the next Animal Crossing game. I don't remember. Anyways, aside from that, a common complaint in New Leaf that a lot of people have is that the villagers are bricks, or sorry, not bricks. That's New Horizons, but the villagers are have a lot less personality. But honestly, I think that they have just as much personality from what I've experienced. I haven't played a lot of the other games, but I'm totally fine with the personality in this game. Yeah, if you do talk to them a lot, they do get a little bit repetitive. But for example, Cole gave me his picture when he moved out, and I don't know. This is kind of bittersweet, even though it takes 5 minutes for me to go back and scan him back in if I want him to be in my town again. So yeah, I really like that about this game. And also, another fun fact is that villagers actually do keep your letters in this game. I think it's only the first few letters that you actually end up sending them, but if you have a conversation with them, they'll just randomly show, hey, this letter, you sent me this, and like try and embarrass you with it. It's pretty funny how that's a thing in this game. I think a lot of people don't actually know that your island that you actually get that is connected to your town is unique to your town. It does have a little bit of variance in terms of how the beach and like the overall structure is designed. And also your island does have a native fruit. It's leeches here, and I got bananas as my palm tree fruit. And my grass type is actually circle. So I don't think a lot of people know that. Your islands do differ in this game a little bit. Also, another fun fact about your island is if you ever want to get, I guess, hybrids on your islands, all you gotta do is wear whatever flower you want to transport onto the island, and then you can set it down right here. Or whoops, that's not how you're supposed to set it down, my bad. Like that. Yeah, so essentially you can't water flowers or breed them on here. I think you could technically breed. I haven't tried breeding flowers with bringing in or hacking in a silver can or golden can or whatnot on an island, but you can actually make your island full with hybrids using this trick. It just takes a little bit of commitment of time and patience. It's no secret that in this game that every day you'll have 4 randomly spawned fossils. But what I think a lot of people don't know is after they fill their museum collection, you can actually give your assessed fossils to Cyrus, and you can actually make you some pretty neat models. So that's what my second goal has always been after completing the museum personally. My only problem with these is that it takes a little bit of patience because you have to like store the fossils. Thankfully you can do that easily with the secret storage room, but it's like a total of 19 models, I'm pretty sure, is what you can make. So it's pretty neat. I like this feature, and they didn't bring it back in future games. If you guys were ever curious what happens if you try to break into this room without unlocking it, you can still come inside here. I'm pretty sure you cannot set anything down. No, you cannot, but technically it's kind of like in this weird state where you can't set anything down, but you can still walk inside. It's interesting. I think most people know about this one, but if you actually use a net or a shovel and even an axe, I think works for this, you can actually break the balloon or pop it without a slingshot, so that's pretty neat. This does require some good angling though, and you need to like be right by the beach as the balloon is descending down or coming up. If you guys were ever curious, what happens if you sit in the mayor's chair as a villager, this happens. So, yeah, you could become mayor if you just clip correctly. It's kind of weird. A lot of people don't know that you can actually see a trash can if you, like, angle your camera properly behind the lockers. But believe it or not, this actually is a trash can that works. You can actually throw out whatever you want in here, which is kind of neat. Also, another thing kind of hidden about the train station is there's snow bushes up here. And these are always here, like regardless of what season it is. I did time travel a little bit in this town, but these are always here. So yeah, it's kind of interesting how these were here. They're obviously impossible to see with the field of view, but I found that kind of interesting that they never bothered to change them or get rid of them. I think a lot of people don't actually know that opening your gates does change the mechanics in game. Well, currently the only way to open your gates is locally because RIP Animal Crossing New Leaf Online. But actually opening this up, well, actually, first of all, the thing, whenever you do local, you actually can't turn your friends list on, I'm pretty sure. It doesn't let you. Oh, never mind. I guess it doesn't matter for local multiplayer. You're gonna have to take my word for it that I promise. Also, I was supposed to pick this up. This town's kind of unfinished, if you guys couldn't tell. But trust me on that one. When people visit your town, Reese or Timmy and Tommy will not greet you. If you guys were ever curious on what was on the other side of the post office, because there is a door in here, well, let's check it out, shall we? Hi, Philly. Can't talk to you. Oh my god. Oh wait, Pelly. Sorry, not Philly. I haven't played this game in a while. It's kind of obvious. It would be funny to see what happens if you give her a mail. I'm pretty sure she would just grab it. But if you guys want to know, yeah, there's nothing. There's nothing to see here. Pretty uninteresting. If you guys were curious on what happens if you try and clip, if you guys were curious on what happens if you try to clip into Club LOL. Hey, KK. There's not really much. Can you change your gyrates? I don't think you can. I can still dance up here with him. Interesting. But yeah, there's not really much to do up here. Bum 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 bum. Back when the net glitch was a thing, I was always curious what would happen if you tried and actually went over this trash can over here. I promise you were able to do net glitch there. But yeah, today's advising hours are over. If you tried to go inside when the hours were, it would just it would just activate a quote-unquote cutscene, but you would never be able to go inside. But even more interesting thing here is if you tilt the skybox up, it actually has the bottom screen on it. Yeah, that's how the skybox ends in this game. So that was an interesting find. They kept it in Welcome Amiibo as well. But I don't think a lot of people knew that. So yeah, that's a cool little glitch. You know, it's so peaceful to be by this ocean. Well, if you guys didn't know, this is actually, like, not water. They didn't really bother, I guess, making this be water, because why would they? But that's pretty cool, how you can just walk on water, man. Speaking of, well, walking on water, in OG New Leaf, you were able to do the net bean or the tweeter glitch to go down here. And, well, if you go down here without a swimming suit or a dive suit, you can swim totally fine without one. So yeah, that's pretty neat how that works. I guess they didn't really bother to, like, not make it possible for you to swim without it. If you guys were ever curious, like, how the train actually works, like, it's collision-wise, I'm pretty sure, yeah, the chairs aren't, like, only part of it actually has collision, but you can just kind of walk through it. It's kind of interesting how it's designed. But obviously, the reason it actually kind of works like this is because when you visit someone else's town, your character is standing in the train, very safe. But yeah. However, what's even funnier than this is that the train outside is completely, like, collisionless. So if your train is ever moving and you did get past the train tracks here, you would never, the train would go just right through you. Yeah, that's pretty much how it would be. I don't think anything past the train tracks is like anything crazy. I mean, you could see this part in a little bit more detail, which is kind of neat. But there's so many videos of what's past these train tracks. The collision here is a little bit weird. You can't walk up here, so you have to kind of squeeze right there. But on this other side, on the other side of the train tracks, I think you can just keep walking. Yeah, you can just keep walking. I'm pretty sure, yeah, my collision is off, and I can still just keep walking. It's kind of funny. One of my favorite mechanics in this game is definitely the house customization. I mean, there's so many different houses you can build. But honestly, adding to that, just like the amount of cool stuff you could do with furniture, like, not gonna lie, I really, really like how you're able to customize furniture with rubies, silver nuggets, golden nuggets, emeralds, and also sapphire, I'm pretty sure. Like, this series, the modern series, looks so cool when you, like, remodel it like this, and I'm kind of sad that they didn't really bring this back in New Horizons. The funny thing is, even Animal Crossing Happy Home Designer, a game that so many people hate, lets you customize furniture with gold or whatnot. We can literally make Chrissy look like she's rich here. That ruby actually blends in pretty well, but yeah. Oh great, I'm gonna get addicted to Happy Home Designer. But like, it's funny how even this was included in a spin-off game that a lot of people didn't play. I don't understand why they didn't bring back the ore customization. I don't know, maybe it's just me who misses it. But it's really neat that it's also in this game as well. You have to unlock it with refurbishing, learning it, but it's still here. TNT Mart is a pretty interesting, I guess, upgrade of the TNT store. The reason for this is actually when you enter, it plays a little tune. And no other TNT store past Junction does that. Except for Junction does that. So I think it's pretty neat. It's also the first TNT store that allows you to have access to an AVD. But adding to this, this is one of the stores where actually selling to Timmy and Tommy actually makes sense. And the reason for this is because this store closes specifically at 11 p.m. I think. So there would be days where I would come back from the island and having, you know, catching a bunch of beetles and rare fish. And coming here was actually an easy way to sell them if retail was closed. However, do keep in mind, if you do sell anything to Timmy and Tommy, there's, I think, it's like an 80% amount that you would get at retail, so do keep that in mind. If you're too lazy to time travel, though, they're always here to take your late night catches. Also, you get to keep the OG music, the Main Street 1 theme, and I know a lot of people prefer that. So yeah, TNT Mart is a pretty neat store. I think this is one that I don't think a lot of people know about, but Kapp'n talks to you a little bit differently if you're a girl instead of a guy. Like, for example, if you're a guy and you say no to him, he actually gets mad at you. But he's just disappointed in you if you say no as a girl. So, I don't know, I just thought that was a little bit funny how that's different. If you're in TNT Emporium in the last minute or so and you actually go up to Gracie's and go shop with her, the funny thing is she can never, or she will never kick you out. She doesn't mind you overstaying your welcome at all. Same thing I think also goes for the Able sisters. I think Kick just does kick you out. But yeah, hi, Gracie. She doesn't really mind you being up here past hours. The princess furniture set. Not bad furniture set. Not her worst. I think the worst is probably the suites. But my only problem with this furniture set is, especially because of the 3DS's resolution, it can be kind of hard to see with the colors, and I kind of wish you could customize it, but Cyrus doesn't. I guess Cyrus doesn't trust himself, like, refurbishing something at this level, because this is like 100k, 200k-ish. Even for the smaller the thing is, the higher the price for Gracie, which is actually comical. But yeah, she doesn't really care being up here. 300,000, God. Oh man. Alright, 901. She doesn't really give a crap of us up being up here. But if we go downstairs, Timmy and Tommy are gonna be mad. Pardon me, so sorry to bother a valued customer. I'm afraid it's past closing time for the store today. We hope you'll visit us again in the near future. Come back. So yeah, they kick us out. But Gracie doesn't mind at all. And Abel's sisters don't mind either. It's kind of funny how some characters don't have an issue with you and other characters do. Eating items in New Leaf isn't really something that, you know, a lot of people really do because there's not really any benefits to it. If you eat just a regular fruit, your villager will consume it. But if you eat a perfect fruit, your villager will be happy. Same thing with some cakes and chocolates, I think, that you can get in this game. But the funny thing is, the famous mushroom, I'm pretty sure, yep. If you eat this, you'll become big and then go down. Yeah. So, definitely, this wither, I forgot what this is specifically called, but it's totally fine. It's not damaged at all from that. Wisteria trellis, that's what it's called. My bad. Your TPC pick is an actual pick that the game like takes at that point in time. Using a save editor, you can actually set it to whatever you wish. There we go. So as you can see, I have my rainbow building sub badge. It's a little, just a little, let's say, pixelated from all the resizing that I took. Obviously, you could do a much better job and have actual nice images be on your TPC card. There's this cool pattern tool online that you can find at acpatterns.com, and you can create whatever patterns you want through this. It's pretty neat. So for example, I'm going to show you guys how I can import an image and turn that into an ACNL pattern. Alrighty, so this is my profile picture. As you can see, it's a little bit pixelated, because of the fact that, you know, it's a lot, you know, being done on a pattern. But a way you can get like really intricate patterns is you can divide that pattern into chunks and then have multiple patterns like that. I was able to do some pretty neat stuff in my town with that, such as the stained glass for Sora. I think that came out really neat. But it's pretty cool what you can do with this tool. But the one caveat is if you do export this as a QR code, the problem is if you do export this as a QR code, the problem is that you won't be the owner unless you export it as .acnl, and then you can import it through the save editor. But it is pretty neat that this tool exists, and it can really help you create a lot more intricate and cool patterns for your towns. If you guys were ever curious on how a house or a golden house looks if it's tiny, this is how it looks. It looks pretty neat, actually, not gonna lie. I kind of wish this was possible, but there's no way to actually get the golden exterior, because it requires you to have your house maxed out before you can even enter the Happy Home Academy, the challenge, in order to actually do it. Oh yeah, and adding to this fact, by the way, there's no way to shrink your house in this game. Even with plugins and whatnot, and save editors, there's no way to shrink your house in this game. So be sure that you actually want to upgrade it, because once you upgrade it, there's no way to actually go back. Same thing with expanding your house. I guess it's just a really hard thing to change in the game's code. If you guys are ever curious on what happens if you have an enormous tree and have like 0 progress in the game and like hack or save edit in order to max out your tree, well, the credits do play, or town history plays. That's quite the history there, my friend. So yeah, it still plays, obviously, but it just loads the ending to it a little bit faster, and you're just sitting here until the song makes, I think, 1 full loop. You're just sitting here. So yeah, that's pretty much what happens. Nothing too crazy or interesting, but it's still neat, I guess. Not gonna lie though, I'm kind of sad they didn't do this in New Horizons. This would have been nice to have in New Horizons. Even Happy Home Designer had this. It's kind of crazy, but... So yeah, it just ends until when the song ends, so... Yeah, that's pretty much it. Nothing too crazy or interesting about it. Even if you sell your town in this game, one thing I think a lot of people like forget about selling your town in this game is actually, even if you sell your town with the catalog, you still get to keep all your public works projects, which is probably, I think, one of the nicest things about selling your town. Reason being is because it can be a really huge pain to get certain villagers to request certain public works projects, so it's pretty nice to be able to keep that. As you can see, after selling my town and all that, I do get to keep a majority of the public works projects. I think the only ones that won't stay are the cafe, Katrina, museum, but you get to keep at least the ones that villagers will request, which makes life so much easier. Because, for example, if you wanted like a very specific amount of villagers or a very specific type of villagers in your town, then you would be limited to the public works projects, so the game kind of lets you keep those, which is neat. I don't think it's a huge secret in this game, but I don't think I've ever seen... Oh, this is actually a decent map. Not gonna lie. I like that it has reset, or that it has the... I like that retail's kind of behind, and you can kind of create a little village behind there of houses. And you can kind of line them up across the river. Anyways, that's me getting off topic, but... yeah, it's not a huge secret, but no two maps in this game are the same. They all are kind of different in their own way. Whether it has a lot of ponds, or the grass, the texture of the grass, what like pattern the grass has, or just when it comes to what native fruit it has, or the color of the town hall and train station. I have never seen two maps that are the same. I've seen some that are similar, 100%, but I'm pretty sure they are kind of randomly generated in some way. I think the title screen maps are, I do think the title screen maps are the same, and they are kind of pre-generated, but I'm not too sure about that. Let me know in the comments if you know the answer to that. Also, this map's cool. It has, I like that it has the way down to the beach leading right straight to the ramp. It's kind of cool how that works. Have you guys ever been curious on what happens if you have two police stations? Well, this is the modern police station, right? And all your items are still here. Hey, Copper. Pete, okay. And let's check out the classic police station now. So yeah, same pretty much. It's literally the same exact thing, just with the different interior, and obviously you have Booker here instead. I do kind of like Booker's personality, but I also kind of like Copper as well, so it's hard to choose, but I do like the aesthetics more of the classic police station. It just fits in so much better with the Zen vibe I went with this town, because it's Traverse Town. More interesting is, if I take the perfect apple basket with me out of here, and if I go back into our modern police station... Yes, it is actually taken from here, so it is cool how that works. If you guys were ever curious on what happens if you give your villager an instruction manual or a 3DS. It's a new 3DS, it comes with Puzzle League. So yeah, that's just what happens. Same thing with the Wii U. There goes my afternoon. But if you actually open up the instruction manual, it doesn't actually open the instruction manual. So yeah, the items are like half functional. But yeah, I'm pretty sure you can gift it to them, either if you suggest furniture to them, or if you just mail them stuff, they do end up keeping it in their house. So that's what happens if you do that. Instruction manual is always reorderable, so I guess it's kind of cool if you do that with the instruction manual. The 7-Eleven set is an extremely elusive set in this game. I'm pretty sure that Philly was never an amiibo card. The only way you could get her is by going to certain spot pass locations and connecting to the internet at the campground. But you can get her, and you can order her furniture, which is pretty cool. So yeah, I do like the 7-Eleven set. I always use it for my basement, because the basement is never graded, so, and I like to go for the antique theme in my house in this game. So it really makes a pretty nice basement furniture. Hi, Philly. I'm just getting settled in here, but it's already feeling like a second home. What do you think is the best thing about having a camper? I'd say not having to put up a tent. Somehow I always end up with an extra pole in my jacket I stick to the ground. So the funny thing is even if you talk to her or use her amiibo, which I don't think it's possible to use her amiibo. I'm pretty sure there's no way you can use her amiibo. After looking it up, yes, she cannot move into your town because she never had an amiibo, but using the megaphone, which is a very convenient item in New Leaf, I hacked her in, so let's see if we can find her. Philly. Philly. That's not Philly. Philly! There we go. Come this way. Alright, so I think she's outside. Hi, Philly. Talha. Well, it is you, isn't it, Talha? Where have you been? I was afraid you'd disappear on us. It got pretty lonely without you. You're an indispensable part of Traverse. Let's catch up soon. I'm pretty sure because I injected her as a villager, I think I got rid of Twiggy for her, or so the friendship I had with Twiggy, I think, is carried over. Have you ever spoken with Sable? She's pretty quiet, but she'll get to know you. Alright, so yeah, Philly's house, she's not in her house. I'll put a pop-up of what her house is. It's nothing too interesting, but it is pretty cool. I wish there was a way you could actually have her inside your town. I would in my town, but I also like having my town being as nice as possible without anything crazy in it that would require hacking. The hammer is a pretty interesting item in this game. You can get it by going to the Club Tortimer Island and kind of going there and buying it from the souvenir shop, but it is pretty rare, so it requires a lot of item hopping, or island hopping, sorry, in order to get, which you could use Club Tortimer for, but that's not possible anymore, unfortunately. But you can pretty much use it to bully your villagers. That's pretty much what you can use it for. Yeah, you can just hit random things with it. You can even shake trees with it, but that was added in Welcome Amiibo. I feel bad doing this, but eh. Ow, someone hit me. Wait a second, what's that in your hand? Did you hit me? Why would you do that something like me? That's so mean. Okay, I feel bad. I feel like a jerk, but yeah, this is an interesting item. Oh, and here's the in-game, I guess, like, icon if you have the hammer. It's kind of cool. One thing that's always kind of bothered me about the train station and town hall upgrades is the fact that it never changes the interior. I mean, I have the blue train station, which I like, but if you get a color like green, I'm sorry, I do not like the green town hall or the green train station at all. There's really nothing you can do about it. I wish there was a way you could somewhat change the interior in some way, but you can't. It only changes the exterior. Even though you can walk on water on Main Street, you can actually, like, the water here is legit. Like, you can actually put your, you can actually fish in here, or put your fishing rod in here. Obviously, there are no fish to actually get in here, but it's kind of cool how that's still an active flag here. In this game, you can make a horned hat, actually, but you do have to use a pro designer to do it. And there we go. So yeah. And there we go. So yeah, we can actually wear this. There we go. Stepping stone hat. I think it's a pretty neat thing that you can do, which I don't think a lot of people actually know about. In this game, you can actually get bamboo shoots and, I think, permasons. If you help a villager early, sometimes they'll give you a non-native fruit or one of these, which is pretty neat. But it takes a little bit of a grind, and it's pretty low chance to do. But that's a thing. That is a neat thing if you can't find anyone who could help you get those. Melody paper is an interesting item in this game. It was never brought back in New Horizons, but using it, you can actually obviously write your letter, and then you can actually do a little tune with it as well, which I think is kind of... If you're ever stuck or stressed with the Gracie's fashion check, you can always use the ABD in order to order whatever clothes you may need. So any items or clothes that you may have gotten from a villager or whatnot that you may have collected, those will always be part of your catalog. You can always reorder them. So you can always use this before 5 p.m. in order to have a full outfit. And the benefits, obviously, of having a full outfit for Gracie is you can get a really expensive furniture item from her. So I always kind of like to do the fashion checks fully, but I do like that you get mail twice in this game. One thing I really like about mail in this game is just the, like, special letters that you get. Like, for example, just the one that you get at the beginning of the game is pretty neat. And even the one that you get from your mom. I don't know, I just like some of the special letters that you get in this game. I always like saving them personally whenever I start a new game. The nice thing about paths in this game, or any designs you may put on the ground, is you can run on them forever and nothing will happen to your grass. It's pretty nice how they at least added that in as a feature. So yeah, if you ever want to keep a part of your grass safe or protected, or just trying to heal it again, you can always just throw on a path, and that part of the grass can never deteriorate. Also, villagers can never move onto it, so that's also a really nice thing to be able to do. Path plot resetting is a little bit tricky, and it can be a little trolly, but it is worth it if you want kind of a nice alignment of villagers. Obviously, you guys can see, because I time traveled so much in this town, it is a little bit off, but I tried. One other thing I want to bring your guys' attention to is actually the home screen. So you can actually get two different copies of this game. One with the green background and the white leaf, and one with the green leaf and the white background. Which is funny, because I think Wild World also has a green leaf in it. But the differences between these two versions is, obviously you can always kind of play OG on the green leaf, but you do have to delete your update data, and you can never use your old... you can never downgrade your town. The game just won't let you. It will just ask you to update your game, and even if you try and brute force your way in, it'll just crash. So yeah, you will always have the green leaf if you bought the game before Welcome Amiibo came out, but if you bought the game after Welcome Amiibo, they just included the update with the game files in itself. Also, the title screens are a little bit different. This has like the little update icon in the top right, and you can always move in to from a green background New Leaf town with the Welcome Amiibo version. You can always import your town if you haven't started a new game on it yet. What happens if your town just completely sucks? Let's see. This is no good. It's like this town's not even a town at all. For the honor of our good names, let's completely rebuild this place. In addition, the citizens complained about the cleanliness of the town. All the weeds and garbage make them feel like they're living on a landfill. Their words, not mine. The fate of Belltown lends to your hands, Mayor Belltown. I just know you'll make us proud. So yeah, it's kind of funny how that's the reaction if your town absolutely sucks ass. You would also have a Rafflesia, but because this entire town is filled with bells, there is no Rafflesia. But I promise you, that will also be here if your town absolutely sucks. Alrighty guys, other than that, that's pretty much all I gotta say about New Leaf. I love this game. It's a great game. Literally can come back to it anytime and still have fun. Obviously, there's only so much to do. I mean, there's only so many, I guess, different things to do in this game. You can't even though it technically goes on forever, there's only so much you can do. But it still is such a fun game, and honestly, it's a great game. I love it. Great game. Definitely recommend checking this game out. Even if you haven't played New Horizons, I definitely recommend coming back and trying out New Leaf. Yeah, there are some mechanics you're gonna have to get used to, such as the small space for your items or in your pockets, and also the villagers moving in wherever they want, unless you put up pads. But I still really like this game. There's just this charm to this game that you just don't get in any other Animal Crossing game. I don't know, maybe it was because it was my first Animal Crossing game that I feel like I can just come back to it anytime and enjoy it. So yeah, I hope Pretendo gets fixed. Hopefully that gets fixed, because my dream towns are probably on there. My old dream towns, I did back them up, but they probably are on there. And I also kind of want Ica Village and all those towns to be up again, because, you know, why not? And also, Club Tortimer. It was a fun place. I met some great people on there. Yeah, there were some weirdos on there, 100%. And there probably will be more weirdos, because it's going to require modding to get up there, but still, like, Club Tortimer was so much fun. Playing with friends was so much fun. And, yeah, it was one of my favorite games on 3DS. Hands down, one of the best games on a 3DS. But, yeah, I don't have much else to say. Thank you guys so much for watching and your continued support. I really appreciate it. More Nintendo modding videos coming soon. And, make sure you guys drop a like, comment, subscribe. Check me out on Twitch, twitch.tv/DataXemnas. I stream Kingdom Hearts level 100% playthroughs of Nintendo games. And other than that, I will see you guys all later. Thank you guys so much for watching.